Welcome to Beauty in the Yard. Today is New Year's Eve and we are going to be smoking beef back ribs.
Beef spare ribs.
Oh, beef spare ribs.
These are Costco specials we got yesterday.
So Jason, for the last few months, has really gotten into smoking. And actually, he tried to film this video a couple months ago, and then that footage got kind of messed up. And since it's like raining and cold and we can't really be in the yard as much, it is time to smoke these ribs again and share how he does them.
We have to get ready for tonight because it's New Year's Eve. So again, we're going to smoke all day. And I'm going to go through a video now that shows all the preparation, all the mixes and rubs that I use. And I've luckily had a lot of time to practice since my first video attempt.
He's gotten really good at this. And I'm not like a huge rib person, but actually this kind of recipe stems from my sister Christy. And she shared it with us, and we love them. And Jason's been really good at it, so we're going to share it with you.
Yes, this is Christy's 3-2-1 method. And it has a little bit of flavor of my own choosing. So we will throw some ingredients in, and I'll show you the whole process here now.
There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground, far from all worries and troubling sound. When I go there to be by myself, only me, no one can guess what I came there to see.
And really quick, we would prefer to use baby back ribs, but Costco apparently was, just sold out yesterday, and this is all you could get. But at Costco, they have like a triple pack, right, of baby back ribs, and that's what we've been doing. So today we're gonna be doing the spare rib version. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but.
You don't understand what I went through at Costco yesterday. Costco was always busy. But when I was there yesterday, we literally couldn't walk around the aisles. People were standing, trying to maneuver in. It was just so crazy. I think getting ready for the new year.
So Jason is a much more patient, calm person than me. I mean, I think that if I had been at Costco yesterday, I would have literally lost it because he said he was about to lose it. So that means it was like off the charts crazy.
I don't ever lose it. It was crowded yesterday, and so I think they were running out of a lot of staples, and maybe they had more in the back. But anyway, today we'll do these spare ribs, these beef spare ribs.
So you got 3 racks.
3 racks. Hope you guys are hungry.
So this is the first step, right? Unpackaging them?
Right, we're going to unpackage these and one by one and dry them off. It's really important to keep them dry. My lovely assistant.
Such a good assistant.
So you have to be careful because you can leave paper towel residue on your ribs. You don't want that.
What do you mean?
So sometimes because it's wet, it'll just tear the paper towel. So just be cognizant. Make sure you pull off any residual paper towel that tears off onto your ribs. Have you never had that happen? See, the problem is she probably has it happen and doesn't even notice it. You've never had a paper towel tear?
I don't know. Are you sure you're grabbing paper towels or toilet paper, Jason? Because I think our paper towels are pretty good quality to not be falling apart on wetness.
Maybe. All right. So anyway, I like to get them really dry. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get all the sitting juice off. Then I'm going to move it over to this tray, and then we'll do the next 2. After we get the all dried off, we'll be ready for the rub.
Wow, it looks like I've never handled a knife before. Who am I, Stuart with the knife? All right. All right, now I got my little window in there. I can come down the center of it. Do you do this with like prepackaged tri-tips too?
I do. Now who's the lovely assistant?
You want a crust. You don't want them to steam, and the more moisture you have in them means that they'll steam rather than getting like a nice crusty. So that's the reason it's nice to dry off meat before you start cooking it. It's gonna be all right.
Okay, you know how it is. A lot of times you women send your husbands to the store to get stuff, and we're gonna go and get the most economically
yeah, you probably bought
least expensive paper towels. So
there
are paper towels out there that will come apart, and so you have to be careful.
Well, I'm glad we have good quality ones today.
We do.
So I actually have to go get my lashes done because they're a mess, but when I get back, I know Jason's gonna have this all underway and he's gonna show you the next steps. For the rub, you will need a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 3 teaspoons cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons white pepper, 2 teaspoons cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons mustard powder, 3 tablespoons smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons onion powder, 2 tablespoons garlic powder, 2 tablespoons kosher salt.
Now we're ready to put the rub together, and we'll use this as a dry rub to put all over the ribs and let it cook for the first 3 hours. But let's first put together the ingredients. First thing we're going to add is brown sugar. 1/2 cup brown sugar. Whoa, thing's pretty solid in there. Next, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Next, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of white pepper. I'll admit, before I started doing these rubs for marinades, for ribs, I didn't know that some of these ingredients even existed, like white pepper. Maybe I'm the only guy that didn't know that, but I didn't realize that pepper came in a white form. Okay, our next ingredient is cayenne pepper, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons. Next, 2 teaspoons of mustard powder. Ooh, look how beautiful that's starting to look. Start mixing it up a little bit. It's gorgeous. Okay, now we have 3 tablespoons of smoked paprika. Not just paprika, but smoked paprika. You can smell that smoked flavor, and it's delicious. Okay, now we're going to go to our 2 tablespoons of onion powder. 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Ooh, we can really smell that garlic. It smells good. And now 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. So this rub is based on about 3 racks of ribs. Now, Kim's not here. She went to get her eyelashes done or something. So we're going to modify this a bit. I think we probably need maybe a little more cayenne pepper. We just want to spice it up a bit. So we'll just add a little bit, not much, maybe a little bit more. I have to say, that smoked paprika, that was delicious. Wow, good smoky flavor. Let's add a little bit more there. I know many of you may be rolling your eyes, but I just don't care. Because this is going to be amazing. And maybe we'll add just a slight tint more of onion powder. All right, while we're at it, shoot, garlic powder. Let's add a little bit more garlic powder, just slight. Okay, I think we're good. Let's mix all of this up together. We'll break up the little clumps of brown sugar. Look at the coloring there. It's really starting to come together. Oh, it smells so good. So we'll use this as a dry rub. I'll spread all over both sides of the ribs, and I'll mash it in and really try to get it to adhere to the meat as much as possible. And then we'll go out to the smoker and we will place these on the smoker and let them cook just like that on a low temperature for a few hours. Let's see if it can't absorb some of these spices. All right, here we go. Starting to look pretty good. Okay. Now for the fun part, we're going to add this dry rub onto the ribs. So this is how I do it. We're going to carefully spread some on. And why do you call it a rub? Well, I believe it's called a rub because it's the art of rubbing it in. I've got some pretty good clumps here left with my brown sugar, but that's okay. We're going to work those in. My goal here is to try to get an even spread of this rub over all of the meat. Gonna grab a little bit more here. Now this is a dry rub, so it's not too messy, but still want to be ready for having paper towels and anything you need to clean off your hands before you go and touch anything else, like a stew bear, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to flip it over. Well, I'm going to get a little bit more on the sides here. Oh, yes. This feels good. Separate a little bit, see if we can't work that rub into the meat a bit. I'm not pressing too hard. Don't want to bruise or damage the meat. Now, I have seen different opinions on rubbing the inside, the bottom layer. But I say, why not? We're gonna do it. So we make plenty of rub. And I'm gonna get all of this worked in really well. Okay. So I think we're good for now on that. Okay. Let's move this over. Grab the second one here. Now the fun begins. We're going to start smoking these ribs. I'm using a Camp Chef smoker today. It's actually the only smoker I've ever had, so I don't have a lot of reference. But so far, so good. I love it. So we're going to start smoking these three right now. We're going to smoke them at 200 degrees for 3 hours. So let's place those on now. We're going to place these ribs side down. And then in our next step, we'll place them meat side down. For the size of my grill, this works perfect for 3 racks. Just like that. This is my mobile setup, my temporary smoking location here. So this is my Camp Chef smoker. And let's check on the ribs. Oh, baby. Right. Looks like they're coming along just nice. We completed the first step of smoking with the dry rub at 200 degrees for 3 hours. Now we're going to go to the marinating section for the next 2 hours. So I'm going to pull the meat out now, and we're going to wrap it in tin foil and add the new ingredients. Let's do it now. Ooh, it's starting to get pretty soft. Wow, look how good that looks. Okay, we're gonna close the smoker to retain the heat. And we'll set up an area here. And what I like to do is I'm gonna wrap this in foil so all the juices can stay together and it can continue cooking for the next 2 hours. I like to double layer it so that it's fully protected with the seal of the aluminum foil. So I go with a liberal amount of foil. Start with that. I can't get it out of the box very easily, can I? There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna wrap these with the meat side down. So we'll start with our very first one here. Ooh, look how nice that's looking. Now, no one ever said these were healthy, but they're going to be really good. Besides, today is New Year's Eve. We'll start cutting out sugar tomorrow. So right now, we're going to start with a stick of butter. And I'm going to actually 1/3 of a stick. I'm going to cut into smaller pieces here, like this, and we're just going to lay them out. Put that down here, and it will melt very nicely right on top of the ribs. Okay, just going to place them out like this. Perfect. Now we're going to take our brown sugar. Yes, lots of brown sugar in this recipe. And I'm going to sprinkle it on top like this, liberally. Like I said, these might not be the healthiest ribs in the world, but they're going to be really good, huh, babe?
They're like diabetes ribs.
Diabetes ribs? You can't say that.
My lashes were done today.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, they smell so good.
Yeah, I know, they are. They just came off the first 3 hours with dry rub. And so I'm just going to mix in the brown sugar a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Okay, go a little bit more. Little bit more. Now, honey. Now I got some pretty cool local hive Northern California honey. I don't know who that is. Must be a brand. I'm assuming they really are from Northern California. But this is in lieu of next year.
Our own honey.
That's right, because we're getting bees in April and we anticipate having our own honey. So when I do this video again next year, it will be with our honey. But for now,
Maybe, or we'll let them keep their honey so that they survive the winter. We'll see.
okay, so again, liberally placing the honey on the ribs.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Ooh.
and so now,
Be a good dinner.
again, we put this meat side down with the ribs facing up. It gives a little more of a cavity to hold all of this goodness. Then we're going to wrap it carefully and place it right back on the smoker. Okay, there we go, just like that.
Butter and sugar.
Okay. Now we are going to carefully roll this back up. And then with this excess on the end, we'll fold back over. I'm going to fold this crease together here so it stays nice and tight. And that is the first one complete. Okay,
That's delicious.
so I'm going to place this over here for the moment, and then we're going to go to our second and do the same thing 2 more times, one for each rack. We're going to run this now for 2 more hours at 220. So we're going to set the timer here. Bump it up. Okay, timer's been set now to 220. I'll run that for 2 hours, and then we will go to the next step. We've completed those 2 hours. Now we're ready to do the final step. It gets dark so early here, this time of year. It's just not fun. But the boys in the background playing basketball, we're going to pull the ribs off right now, and we're going to separate the juice and extract the fat from it. And we'll use that as part of our glaze that we're going to create in just a few moments. But step one is we'll pull these ribs off. We'll take the foil off, save the juices, and then we'll put the ribs back on. And then we'll create our glaze with that fat render, and we'll use that, and we'll brush it on. Okay, we're going to start with this first one. I'm going to carefully open the foil, because again, I don't want to lose any of the juices. We're going to try to save those, extract the fat. Oh my goodness. You see that? Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Okay, now I want to carefully, I'm going to slide this over. Going to take note to keep the foil raised up so none of the juices come out. And I'm going to try to carefully lift this without separating. Now, it's starting to fall off the bone. It is coming along nicely. So we're going to remove it like that. And you can see all of these juices that was saved in the foil. Now we're going to carefully going to create a little funnel system and dump these into a large bowl. Let me see if I can. Okay, so we will start. Perfecto. Okay. I'm going to carefully take the wrap off of this. Oh, again, look at that beauty. Okay, let's carefully remove this so we can save the juices. Oh, so moist. So moist. Our dog Tank is right beside me because he knows good ribs like the rest of us. At least the smell of them. Okay, we create a good funnel here. Extract the juices. One more. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, let's carefully it's got some sitting juice on top. We're going to carefully let that drain out. Going to place that on top here. This one has some good juice. Look at that. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can go 3 for 3 without making a mess. All right, perfect. Okay, for the glaze, we're going to use barbecue sauce, and you can use your favorite barbecue sauce. In our case, I'm going to use a Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, something that we have local here. Actually, it might be everywhere. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it until I moved here 10 years ago. But anyway, we love it here. That's what we use in our family. It's not too sweet, and so it goes well, and we're trying to use it as a base for a glaze or, some sort of topping. But the boys use it for everything. It's kind of offensive to me. I make steak, I make chicken, and I think it's fantastic. They go for the barbecue sauce. If you ask me, that's offensive. But for the ribs, we are going to use it as part of a glaze. Now, I think I said earlier we're going to use 2 cups, but we'll see. I'm just going to put a bunch in. Do it by feel. We might use the entire. Well, let's see. We've got 3 racks here, so I'm going to probably put a little bit more than 2 cups. 28 ounces. I'm going to use the entire thing. Doesn't mean I have to put the whole glaze on, but at least I won't run out halfway through. Also, we're going to add more of our honey. Again, we're using this local hive honey. It's made in Northern California. We're not going to use too much honey. We're going to use it to help thicken up the glaze. But we already have quite a bit of honey that we used earlier in the rub and, or in our marinade, I should say. And as we know, there is a lot of sugar already. Okay, I believe these drippings have separated sufficient enough, so we're going to start separating out the fat and adding it to our glaze. So I'm just simply going to do it with my spoon here. You know, I should have probably a better tool, like a little suctioner. I don't know what they're called. The little suction thing that you can suction up juice. I'm sure there's a name for it, and we probably have one somewhere. But this would only take, it should only take a minute. But whenever you cook meat, using the fat from it in some sort of a gravy or a glaze or a spread, it's just a great idea. It'll complement whatever you're doing so well. So we're almost there. Let's get a little bit more, and then we'll mix it all up. Oh, I wish I could express to you how good this smells. Okay, I think we're there. Maybe there's a little bit more we could get out of it, but I think we're sufficient. So let's really get this mixed together. Again, we have the fat extract from the ribs. We have barbecue sauce and honey. And, you know, the honey really is there to help thicken everything up. All right, I'm going to be really careful with this so I don't make too much of a mess. But once I have this all mixed together, well, we're going to put the ribs back on, and then we will use a brush to lightly brush on a pretty thick layer of this glaze. That was not the best way to do that. Okay. So now with my brush, we're simply going to paint on this amazing goodness, this glaze of barbecue sauce, honey, and fat. Now, I think I have more glaze than I'm going to need, but I am going to coat it pretty evenly, fairly thick, all over the meat part. Now again, I'm going to face these rib side down so the meat is facing up. I'm not going to glaze the bottom part, I'm just going to glaze the top. Okay, I think that is sufficient. Quickly slide that in place. Okay. So now we're going to keep it at 220. I'm going to go ahead and close the lid. We're going to let those heat for another 1 hour. That'll get all the glaze cooked into the meat, and then we'll let it sit and rest for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna chow down. Oh, these are ready to fall off the bone. Look at that. So beautiful and golden. Oh, look at that. Using a spatula because they're separating so well, literally falling off the bone. Oh, look at that. All right, let's take these inside. Okay, it's a moment of truth. What do you think, Stu?
Okay, the bacon's wonderful.
Oh, I know, the ribs.
Oh, well, I haven't tasted that yet.
Okay, Emmett.
Oh, delicious.
I already can tell.
It's actually good.
I had my
Very good.
You sound surprised.
Just because I prefer pork over beef, but these actually turned out better than I thought they were going to.
It's all about the cook.
These are delicious.
Very good.
I can't use a fork.
Yeah, use your hand.
Try the ribs.
Okay.
Forget the mashed potatoes, try the ribs.
Oh, come on. Mashed potatoes are delicious.
Mom, Dad, final.
That's good.
Yeah?
Definitely, yeah.
Really good.
Truth.
All right.
It's the moment of truth.
Just perfect.
I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day, no matter what anyone does or say. I smile at fools. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop, I won't slow down. Steady on my feet, I'm gonna rise up. No, I won't stop, it is my time. Cause I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. I'm strolling down the street with all of my favorite songs on repeat. I'm dancing through